Hi, thanks for joining me today. Are you stuck trying to get the family to bond and be good together? And the children, your stepchildren, are really reticent and pulling the other way and make things much more difficult than they need to? Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. It can be very distressing as a step-parent when you're trying to make a huge effort to bring the family together and to make the family good again. Your partner and you may have some quite high expectations about how you can move on and how things could get better. But actually, I'd just like to talk to you about how realistic an expectation this might be. What happens from the child's perspective is that there's been a change in their lives, in the sense that the family that they used to live with and in isn't operating anymore, and they are being invited into this new family that you're creating with their partner. But actually, to make that journey to being happy in the new family requires them to go through a form of grieving process for what they've lost, of what's gone before. Even if what they had in the past, the family that is no longer operating together now, was really non-functioning, difficult, it came to a natural end, the child still needs to grieve before they can embrace a new life. What happens is that the child sees anything that's good or exciting or positive about the future or excitement about forming this new family as a negative, because they see it as a sadness for what could have been if things had been different or worked out differently in the previous family. So every time you as the step-parent have a great time with your stepchildren, they see it as an impossible contradiction. On the one hand, they're really pleased they've had a good time with you. But at the same time, they're bitterly sad and disappointed and angry that this couldn't have been with their original family. And they may, in addition, feel sad and angry for their other parent who isn't experiencing this new good time. So it's almost as though you can't win as the step-parent. The better and more happy and more excited and more positive you make the child's experience, the more contrasted the child is in terms of wanting it to have been different. So they can't fully enjoy the good times with you because half of them is looking back or looking the other way. So what, as a step-parent, can you do in this situation? There is a thought that talks about looking at the dark side of things in order to be able to enjoy the good side of life. So if you ignore everything that's negative and bad and angry feelings and sadness, and just try and trump it with excitement and happiness, then ultimately the person can't really enjoy the happiness and the excitement and goodness because they've got this negativity or the darkness inside them. And it's best to take time to look at some of this darkness so that people can feel the real happiness. If you try and just sort of put the icing on the cake, it won't work. People can't just be happy if they haven't looked at the stuff that's making them unhappy. So it is worth looking or helping the child to look at what's not right and what they are unhappy about, so that they can move on and enjoy life with you. Otherwise, it can develop into long-term resentment where you find it very unsatisfactory. They always pour cold water on all your efforts and energy and remain glum even in the happiest of so-called situations. And they resent you for you wanting to expect them to always be happy when really they're not. They can't be happy because they've got all this other stuff inside them that needs to be sorted out first, and they're bitterly, bitterly unhappy and disappointed with what's happened in the past, and that needs to be resolved before you can move on in a happy way. So what am I saying here? I'm saying really, fine to sort of put the energy into making the family grow together, but also don't overlook the opportunities to look at the things that is making the child sad or disappointed or angry. Address those. Maybe you'll get an opportunity when the child expresses themselves at a point, and you can say, well, what's that about? And can we talk about that? And yeah, I can see that you're really upset about that. And, I can understand why you're so upset about that. And it must be really difficult to feel that way. But if you ignore all the unhappy feelings and just brush them over, then the child won't move on, and you'll find yourself stuck in this not very satisfactory relationship. We run workshops, sessions, and we have an email response service. Do look at the description box below for links to our social media and website.